Welcome to the Nerd Party.
They can travel anywhere in time and space.
Off we go into time and space.
So all of time and all of space is sitting out there.
Welcome to Time and Space, one married couple's adventure through the Doctor Who universe. I'm Jessica Nunn.
And I'm her erstwhile companion, Philip Gilvis.
Now, how do you come up with these adjectives for what kind of companion you are this week? I mean, I know it's based on what we're going to talk about, but, like, do you have a thesaurus?
It's a me-saurus.
It's a you-saurus.
No, it's a me-saurus.
Like a rawr.
Yes.
That's the weirdest dinosaur I've ever heard of. We need it. We need one of those.
Well, if you watch the episode Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, yeah.
On a spaceship?
Dinosaurs
There's a
on a
me-saurus?
Yeah.
Huh. I did not know that.
Well, we'll have to watch it again.
The more you know.
Do-do-do-do.
Right, my love. What have we been up to this week?
A lot, but I don't know if any of it was necessarily Doctor Who related. I know Dragon Con happened, and I'm sure there was a lot of Doctor Who wonderful outfits, so I haven't necessarily gone through all the cosplay pictures yet. So
no, I have seen bits and pieces about Dragon Con as a thing, and I know Christian Kane from Angel was there.
Right.
Because I follow him on Twitter, because, you know, Christian Kane.
I think Peter Cushing... No, sorry. I've spoiled what we're going to talk about. Sorry. Peter Capaldi was there. I think he was, yeah.
That might
I did, because I saw there's a picture that's going around of him with people dressed from the Planet of the Apes people.
Okay.
Cosplaying that, so sort of an interesting things uniting there.
Meshing, yeah. Are there any pictures of him with Christian Kane?
Not that I know.
No, I haven't seen any either. If anybody's got one, send it over, by the way. So,
but yeah, I did see a potential mistaken reveal of an air date, but that may just be rumor. Apparently, German iTunes accidentally dropped the heading or whatever and then took it out. Which, I mean, look, we all know, or we all feel like we know it's October, so I think it was like the first Sunday in October, but we'll find out.
We're starting to get it narrowed down.
Well, we don't have a choice at this point.
Yeah, we first knew it was going to be autumn.
Yeah, I know.
And now we know it's October.
Yeah,
and now perhaps
I just don't know why
the first Sunday.
I don't know why they're keeping it a secret.
I don't know. Maybe I don't think British programs have the same sort of summer halls that we do, that American programming does. So I don't know if they're waiting.
Well, because I assume, and that's an assumption, but I assume they are going to do it in theaters like they did with Peter's first episode. Because they started with the 50th anniversary. And I think that was the only one until they did Deep Breath, Peter's first episode. But I assume they'll do it again, at least here in America, in case listeners don't know what I'm talking about. They'll release the first episode in select, release in movie theaters, and so they'll add some extras and stuff. So, because I remember going to see Deep Breath, I remember watching it on TV, and then like a couple days later watching it in the movies.
Oh yeah,
so
that would be fun.
Yeah, so I'm hoping.
I think I figured out why they haven't announced the release date yet.
What's that?
I think they're waiting until the Great British Bake Off is over.
Okay.
Because nobody's going to pay attention to it until GBBO is finished. So, and that's something you and I need to watch at some point.
Sure. I know Jodie's been making the sort of magazine covers.
Yes. I think Marie Claire, is that what I just saw her on?
Yeah.
Saw that on Twitter. Mm-hmm. So, all very
exciting. Everyone's excited, and so we're all looking forward to it. And we will be having new Who, and suddenly this will turn into an episode review show. So we're looking forward to making the transition and what that'll look like. So, Time and Space, this is, I guess, we're in series 1 here, and we'll figure that series 2 once that starts. And how we'll change how we do things. But
I'm getting a new companion.
There you go.
Yeah, for series 2.
Right. Well, that makes sense. I'll probably leave because reasons.
All the
well,
reasons.
If it's like most companions, I will have fallen in love, and that's why.
And we do not want that on this podcast. That sort of nonsense does not belong here.
You'll lock up the doors.
We will have none of that on our married couple's adventure through time and
You'll
space.
You'll be like,
mister.
I'll come back, Philip. One day I'll come back.
I might bring K9.
That's right.
My new companion, by the way, spoiler, the cat.
Right. Well, you're not going to figure out what the cat's name would be.
The cat's name is Finn.
Yeah.
Philip, we have talked about
that's
this.
That's the actor's name.
Oh, right. Oh, I
see.
So I need a character name. K10. I'm going to call the cat K10.
Okay. So he's the 10 cat.
Yes. Yes. If he only had a heart, and I know that you feel that way. Now we have to post pictures of the cat so that people understand.
Well, that doesn't make any. I think it doesn't make any sense to me when I see the cat. So I don't know how it would make sense to other people.
No, I thought we've got some great pictures of the cat.
So you say. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, moving along. So not a whole lot of Doctor Who for us this week, I don't think.
Though I think there will be next week.
Because number 9. What month are we in?
Well, I'd say look at the calendar behind you, but someone doesn't change calendars around here. So
I do not. To be honest, it's now become a thing, and I have a certain number of times you have to tell me to change the calendar before I'm prepared to do it.
There you go.
So, in case you were wondering. But, yes, we should be getting Mr. Dr. 9.
Well, one thing, and this is random, but it fits in. I bought, we were recent Prime, we were recent Prime members, Amazon Prime. And over
relate to the ball game.
Yeah. And we're also poor, but anyway, yes. But it made sense after a while. But we bought someone bought a Fire Stick, Amazon Fire Stick over the weekend. Because the thing is, I'd Google Chrome stick. This is probably too much information. And Amazon does not translate on Google Chrome for whatever reason. And so when you cast on your TV, it kind of half measures about how good the quality will be. So figured Fire Stick, it's an investment. There's enough stuff on Prime that we watch. Why not? So, but anyway, there's Doctor Who. Not only does it have new Who, of course, we already have the Blu-rays, but it does have some classic.
Oh, that's interesting.
So there is sometimes we could watch it kind of maybe a little bit better quality than maybe other sources that we have.
Yeah, that's totally not where I thought you were going to go with this. I thought you were going to talk about the Doctor Who game you bought.
Oh, that's true. Well, we haven't played it yet, so I'd rather you talk about it when we do. But yes, I did buy. I forget what it's called. It should be right in front of me. Here it is. It is Doctor Who: Time of the Daleks board game, and
obviously
I was a sucker. I was reading Doctor Who Monthly. Yes, that is what it's called, right? The magazine. And there was an article about it, which I'm sure the article's there just so you'll buy it, and it worked. Because I was like, I like board games. Obviously, I probably own more than I should because we just don't play enough. But I was like, you play Doctor. I mean, I was sort of reading it.
We are not playing Doctor, darling. It is not that kind of show.
But there's expansion. But I don't know. I was like, and it wasn't exorbitant. So I'm like, it's worth taking a chance. And so I sort of practice played the other day. And it's a really good game. And so I would recommend it if you're looking for a board game that's Doctor Who oriented. There's going to be expansion packs because right now it just comes with, I think, 1, 4, 11, and 12. And so then they have sort of stories that are tied to those specific Doctors. And then in the future, they'll have more Doctor figures with stories to go with them. And without describing the whole game to you. But I think it's very versatile and very replayable and stuff like that. So,
is it can two people... Just two people?
Yeah, it's two. That's what I was going to buy something. That
right, yeah. Which is not, I hasten to add, this is not because we don't have any friends.
Well, it's not. No,
it is that. We just live very far away from everybody.
That's right.
So getting together for a game night is not as easy as it could be on other occasions. But, so we've got another Dalek thing to talk about. Hooray! But, speaking of the Daleks have menaced the Doctor throughout time and space. In the second part of our two-part series, we'll look at their second ever feature film serial appearance, Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD. This 1966 Peter Cushing film is inspired from the First Doctor adventures The Dalek Invasion of Earth. How successful was it? Which is better? And why did this movie fail to inspire a full Dalek movie trilogy series?
Trilogy?
Did you struggle with that?
It's my French.
Oh, I did not.
Trilogy.
Oh, see, I did not know. You are so bilingual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what do you think?
So, of course, we watched the Riff Tracks version, available on Amazon Prime.
Which helps, by
yes.
the way.
Yeah, no, it helps. But it as a movie in and of itself, right? So this is not comparing it to the, it's TV inspiration, just a 1960s sci-fi flick. I think it's good and bad. So obviously, because we're those kind of people, let's talk about the bad first. I think, just starting off, there's not much of an introduction. Like, unless you know Doctor Who and the characters, you're going to get confused.
And you're going to get confused even if you've seen the previous movie, as we did.
Right. Because I think it's sort of like, it starts off one way with sort of, modern time, I suppose. It's supposed to be modern time, the 60s. And, Bernard Cribbins, I'm sure his character has a name. And Tom Campbell, I know, but it's Bernard Cribbins.
Yes.
But anyway,
Granddad.
Yeah, sort of falls into the TARDIS more or less because he's a policeman and he sees the police box. It makes sense. And then he's sort of like, oh, look at this, and we're going to 2150. Why? Doesn't matter why. And who are these people? We're not doing names. And then it's like, boom, we're here. Adventure begins.
Yeah, it's sort of a forced companion kind of situation, and I don't know that we often have forcible companions, although possibly Donna a little bit in the first.
Well,
but yeah,
and I think Jessica and I are pained, but whatever, we'll admit a little thing that it took us about 3/4 of the movie to figure out that's not Barbara.
Yeah.
Because someone's like, Louise, we're like, who the heck's Louise?
Yeah.
That's not Barbara?
Yeah, we actually had to Google it. Because, yes, this movie has completely gotten rid of Barbara and Ian, who in the original movie are boyfriend-girlfriend.
I guess fiance.
Okay.
Affianced, if you will.
Affianced. And Barbara is also the Doctor's granddaughter.
Yes, we'll just say yes.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Well, they've completely disappeared. So once we've settled into that idea, it's gone.
Right.
And Louise has shown up.
Why? Doesn't matter. Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. Who is apparently the Doctor's niece. And then, of course, there's the random police officer playing the part of not Ian.
Right. So we have not Barbara and not Ian.
Yes. Yeah. Also known as Granddad.
Right.
Which doesn't necessarily help with any of the confusion. Also, while we were Googling this, I don't know if you saw it, but it was Wikipedia, full disclosure, but they were talking about the fact the Doctor was human.
Well, yes. He's just Doctor Who. Like, that's his name. He is Doctor, last name Who. Yes.
And he doesn't have any of the timey-wimey.
He's just some guy. Because remember the first episode is just, he's like,
in his garden,
inventing,
making things. Yeah, I do remember that, but I just assumed that he was just a doddering old Gallifreyan.
No, he's just normal guy.
Just regular old human guy.
Who's built a TARDIS.
Obviously.
Right, as you do.
And, yeah, so...
Because I feel like the first one, not to recap the first one, since I think I've already blocked it out, was sort of like he's tinkering around, and I think I've built a time machine, and then Ian slips on a banana peel or something.
That sounds about right. And that's so Ian.
That's right. And then kicks them off on time and space. Right. And this one just seems to be like, that's what we do now.
Yeah.
We take family members and go through time and space.
Yeah. Although that much time can't have possibly passed... Because Susan's not Susan's not that old. Not much older than she was.
Yeah. So, and in real time, I'm sure it's only a year or two.
Yeah. She's a cutie pie. I like her.
Yeah, had a little frizzy hair thing, but I guess that was the style.
Yeah, it was.
Though she doesn't play... I mean, she's the same character, but like in the first film, she's a little more like kid prodigy. In the second film, she's not necessarily kid prodigy, but she's sort of like... I know what I'm doing,
Yeah, well, she went on that other time travel adventure.
Well,
nobody else did other than the Doctor, because Barbara and Ian are gone.
Yeah.
And so this is new to Louise.
What was it? I'm trying to remember was she with David or was she whoever she was with? That she was sort of dragging along the Dalek future. Where the riff track people were like, I'm in charge here. Just be quiet and listen to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the injured guy. I'm not sure that was David. David appears.
Yeah, but
But
anyway.
anyway.
So we're not comparing.
We'll come
yet.
back to that. Yes.
But anyway, I mean that's it. I mean after that, it is sort of straightforward in and of itself, and I don't mean that in a bad way. You know, it's a film, it's a story, it's a movie. Nothing's crazy necessarily.
Still has a lot of things going on.
Right.
Because all 4 of them end up in different places.
Right.
You're trying to bring all of those things together, and
I mean, one of the cool things about it. Well, I guess I don't want to go into comparisons yet, but it's in color, obviously. Or I suppose not. Maybe it's not obvious, but anyway, it's in Technicolor or something. But anyway, but it was nice. You get to see more, literally, in color. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think you really learn much about the characters. It's just more.
No, and here's one of an interesting issue. Mm-hmm. When Susan is getting ready to leave the bunker, she leaves a note for her grandpa.
Right.
Which he doesn't see.
Right.
And there's a whole big thing. But then it's not a whole big thing.
Well, because she then says, oh, he's probably going over here.
Yeah.
He'll find us.
Yeah, so I think that they were if I remember correctly, they were going to Watford.
I believe so.
And so Susan gets to Watford and things are really bad, so they go to the mine.
Which is in, I forget where.
And they're like, oh no, we've left a note for your grandfather. And she's like, oh, that's fine. Even if he sees it, when he gets to Watford, he'll know to come here.
Right.
And so it wasn't even this madcap zany, where are they? Why do they keep missing each other? It was just a thing. And so then why bother leaving the note?
And I think it was hard, because we watched the Rip version, if I wipe that out of my mind just as a movie, I think at times, and maybe this isn't a bad thing, the movie doesn't know whether it's, it's in America it'd be the 1950s sci-fi flick, but for the British, 1960s sci-fi, so similar veins, but the 1960s sci-fi flick, or a comedy. Because there are times where zany stuff does happen, and there's stuff where it's, robots are invading Earth. Yeah. Which, I mean, you can be both. You don't have to be one or the other. But
I felt that a lot that way in the first one as well. Well, that particularly was with Ian. Yeah. I mean, you got this whole big civil war on this planet between the Daleks and the other indigenous people, and Ian is slipping on banana peels and running into doors. Yeah.
But I think this one is a little more serious than the first one. I mean, it is Earth, right? Being invaded. And, with as we've talked before in all Dalek stories, and we talked last week, invasion, occupations, fascism, to 1960s Britain. These aren't two foreign concepts. Fresh in minds for some people. So, but, so it's interesting how they play with that. But, yeah.
Yeah.
So...
We saw it. That was the thing that happened.
So let's compare.
Yep. This movie did not have the sign about dead bodies in the lake.
I was very disappointed. I thought that would be like, oh, that's how you know.
Yeah.
That's the biggest callback, I feel like.
Yeah. Also, not enough emphasis on cold water on ankles.
Right. It just briefly mentioned.
Yeah, she hurts her ankle. Susan hurts her ankle. We see not Barbara dipping a handkerchief in the lake, and that's pretty much it. And from then on, Susan's ankle is fine, and off we go. Yeah,
not enough ankle bathing action.
Not enough ankle bathing. I know how you like the ankle bathers.
There were no veto signs.
Very.
I know. Very.
Well, I suppose they didn't have the same backstory to go with it.
But no, it was the body set. There was something about, like, boil water or something, which I thought, like, well, okay. But it's not.
And there was the crispy, crunchy, some sort of cereal advert.
This was actually, this was in TARDIS.wiki. It's actually sponsorship. Like, that was literally a real.
That's the product placement.
Yes.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
Bless.
Now, one of the things that the movie does have, so it is a movie budget, which and again, it probably isn't huge, but nevertheless, so the flying saucer is much improved upon the flying saucer that you see in the TV serial.
You don't see the strings even once.
It's actually a little bit more than just a tin, foil saucer. It's actually a little more design there. And it is in color. I mean, that's not nothing, It is nice to see things.
Yeah, you get to see the Daleks in all their colors.
And there's multiple color Daleks, all those haters from the 11th Doctor, Stephen Moffat.
Some great leather plastic outfits going on.
Well, the Robo-Men are a little bit more designed.
Yes, but...
I mean, it's still silly looking, but...
It is. I in the series... I felt like the Robo-Men were more clearly it felt like their helmets were more Dalek-like.
Right.
And the feeling that they were being controlled by those helmets. In a way that we did not get it in this. That's what I felt.
And it is very subtle, but with the TV serial, it begins with a Robo-Man killing himself, which, a little dark. But anyway, okay, he maybe realizes some bit of humanity, and that doesn't happen in this one, which I think something's a little lost there. That's a kind of an interesting commentary. Because, again, the Robo-Men are just basically your faceless enemies to shoot at.
Well, and we also lose my brother's a Robo-Man.
Right, that's true, you're
right.
And
I have to go save him, and then the moment they see each other, and he's like, you're in there, your wife, all of those things, and then he sacrifices both himself and his brother because he realizes there's no returning. We still get the guy killing himself, taking himself over a cliff with a robo guy.
Right.
But we don't get that sort of backstory. I'm also really mad that not Barbara didn't get to drive the fire truck.
I know. In fact, it's Susan does, right? The little kid does it. Plucky.
Except she doesn't. It's the guy. Oh. She's just sitting in the passenger seat.
That's right. Kids can't drive.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, wrong side of the road, which is probably where you got confused.
That's
wrong
true.
Side of the car.
Yeah,
rather.
Exactly.
And you don't get the professor giving his plans, like clearly sacrificing himself and giving the plans.
And this one was just like a last minute,
Barbara.
I'll distract him. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like we lost some of the heart places.
Right. I agree. Yeah, and it was interesting because not Ian wasn't as bumbly. He wasn't exactly a hero. And again, I'm not a British film, sort of. I'm seeing this through an American lens, where the guy would be.
He had the
leading
occasional
man.
Bumbling moment, like when he's with the Robo guys, and they're all
Oh God, that is.
and
I
they're
forgot
all
that
in
one.
the lunch line.
That was like
that was weird.
An old Woody Allen movie or something.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Mm-hmm.
So he does have his bumbling moments.
We do have the I Love Lucy.
Yes, yeah.
Not Barbara.
Where the lunch trays keep coming and he's trying to stuff them in various places. So I think that there are definitely bumbling moments. But, he's never really... he's clearly just not Ian.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose. They needed somebody to be not Ian.
Well, he's supposed to be a DS, so he's supposed to be semi-competent, police officer. So, so...
But that's never really used, is it?
No, other than that's why he went to the police box.
And then you think, maybe they'll romance
and I was thinking
with Louise, and so
maybe.
instead of staying there, she goes back to the present day, whatever, with him. But they completely cut that. And I appreciate that, this was Susan's exit as a companion, and so that's why they had that romance. But... we lose all trace of it.
It is unusual, or at least to me it's unusual, that there is no romance in this movie.
No.
That's unusual, right? For any movie?
Yeah, I would have
at all
so.
That exists in all of the world.
Yeah, and again, David makes this brief appearance.
I know, you did just name check. Here's a character named David. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Moving on.
This felt like it was much more...
Dalek-y.
Well, no, I was going to say vastly different from the original. In a way that I didn't necessarily feel like the first movie was.
Right.
The first movie felt like it followed pretty clearly along all the lines.
But I think once you lose not real Ian and real Barbara, then you actually do have to make choices.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, well, okay, who's stuck in the flying saucer? Who meets the witches
Which was not
in the shed?
Ian. That was Susan. Yeah. And her guy.
And her companion.
Yeah, her companion. Which was very interesting. And again, I feel like there was a loss of feminism a little bit. Not just with
Barbara, that kid was hyper competent, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but you have that moment of the two competent women of Barbara and Susan meeting with the two women who are making choices to collaborate with
listen.
the enemy. For food, and I did feel like this highlighted that a little bit more.
Though I did think, and of course, again, we're listening to riff tracks, so they emphasize stuff. But here's a point or a question I would have, to the 1960s British film people. I don't know what you would call them, but anyway, this idea of taking an existing story, this is a weird idea, by the way. Like, okay, all right, here's my thing. I would understand if you did it for the first movie, because you're sort of like, well, we're trying this out. It's a new thing.
We don't want to spend a whole lot of money on screenwriters.
But I feel like the second one is when you sort of go your own way.
Yeah. Well, and they sort of went their own way.
Yeah, but it was
I think you got
80%.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So I'm wondering, like, why do you just take the story? I don't know. Anyway, and then just the things
because they already had the Daleks.
Well, I'm not saying not Daleks. I'm just saying why literally the same story.
Yeah, why lift it completely out?
Because, like, you're having to build these same sets? Or did they just, like, are they still there and just, like, colorize it and a little more budget and there you go? Yeah,
your guess is as good as mine. But I think it's a fair question. Were they trying to save money not just on screenwriting, but on sets?
But the point I sort of meandered off of. The three characters, technically, but the two incidents. One, you have the witch's shed, like, I'll be going out, wink.
Yeah, it was really obvious.
The rich acts are like, I don't trust these people at all.
Because they keep sending each other sneaky
Why do you want me to eat the soup? What's in the soup?
Yeah.
And then you have Trenchcoat Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Who was skeezy enough in the serial.
But proper skeezy
he was like,
in this.
Hey there, would you like to buy something from me?
Yeah, and doesn't really have any redeemable qualities. I feel like in the series, and I can't remember what those redeemable qualities were, but I feel like in the series, he was a little bit more redeemable.
They did not have the puppet monster in this one that roamed the forest.
Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about that. The baby alligator.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no, not that. That's hilarious. No, I'm talking about, it was the big monster that almost ate the Trenchcoat Guy. That was sort of like the first, or like the third or the fourth.
Oh, was it not related to the baby alligator?
That was in the sewers. Baby alligator was in the sewers.
Obviously.
That's when Susan couldn't climb a ladder for some reason. But no, this was when they were in the forest with the Trenchcoat Guy. And it's,
I remembered that.
He only comes out at night.
For some reason, I had it in my head that those two things were related.
Yeah, no, they did not have any vicious baby alligators in this movie.
Sad times.
Yes.
Sad times. I did miss the baby alligator.
Mm-hmm.
But you do, don't you?
Yeah. And then there's not really... I mean, not that the serial had it, but then the movie doesn't really have a... Well, it's up to you to build a new society. It's more like, all right, solved, we outs.
And the series did have that because Susan decides to stay and help rebuild. And
you
she
built
and
a relationship with
have
David. Yeah,
all of these conversations about rebuilding. And I agree.
We didn't really get to know the natives of Earth 2150.
2150.
I don't do numbers, darling. You know that.
Yeah. But I agree. I was missing that as well. They were pretty much like, right, we've solved this problem. Mm-hmm. TARDIS out, mic drop, do what you will. And that was weird.
And then end on a laugh.
Yep. Obviously.
Tom Campbell goes back to his present, knocks out the robbers, possibly killing them, and drives away.
Yep. Presumably to a police station. But that's not made clear. It is not made clear.
Yes.
Right, so the Cushing legacy.
Yes, darling. So you were fascinated by the idea that there was a non-canonical doctor out there.
I'm sorry I ever expressed any sort of interest. I was shocked and horrified. And I still think, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not particularly enamored of Peter Cushing's doctor. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they just pretend he doesn't happen.
Right. Now, apparently, and I'm sure everyone knows this who's listening, in the novelization of Day of the Doctor, the 50th, written by Stephen Moffat, the novelization, the Target book, he does somehow make Peter Cushing fit. I don't know how. I haven't read it. I don't know.
Well, and again, it could be, the fact that he has the same characters as the first Doctor. He has the same storylines as the first Doctor. So how do you bring those together? And I don't know.
Is this like the Kelvin-verse in Star Trek, JJ-verse, where you have the JJ-verse, Kirk and Enterprise and all that, and Khan versus the Prime-verse?
Yeah.
Did something happen that splits the Doctor Who universe?
I mean, I don't 100% know what the hell you're talking about, but yes, I suspect so. And the
Cushing-verse.
Yes, the Cushing-verse. I understand why it's problematic.
Because I was reading something, it was either on TARDIS.wiki or something, that obviously Bill Hartnell was disappointed he was not cast to play the movie.
How old was he by then? Was he dead?
No, it was during his time, darling. He's Doctor Who during this.
Why is it black and white then?
Because it's not a movie.
All right.
In Technicolor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Budget is what you tell me.
I guess. I don't pretend to know how things work. But anyway, they went with Peter Cushing because, of course, he's more of a name, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know what the contemporary Peter Cushing movies of this time are. I mean, I always see the picture of him as Star Wars or potentially a vampire of some sort. I don't know. That's all I got for Peter Cushing.
Yeah, I got nothing.
What do you have for Peter?
I got nothing.
Do you think Sherlock Holmes at some point?
I would be mad. I would be really mad if the movie producers were like, hey, we're going to do a Doctor Who film, and we're going to use the same stories that you've already done, and we're going to use all the same characters in at least the first one, but not you.
None of the actors.
None of the actors.
Even Ian and Barbara are like, oh. And Susan's like, even though I've left, I can still, I'm a child now. Well then, okay.
Screw you and the horse you rode in on.
That's why I'm leaving.
And who, I mean, somebody must have said, somebody who was doing the Doctor Who television series and who owned the rights for the Doctor Who television series went, okay,
yeah,
off you pop. That I find that strange.
And again, I guess the only thing I can think of, and I'm sure there's more
was
things.
This Verity? Did she do this?
Again, just that there's no repeats, and so it's one and done, and so maybe people either didn't see the story, or hey, who knows how much they remember it, or it could just be like, hey, that thing you like, we're going to do it again, but in movie form. And hey, they still do that today, and it works, so I guess we can't complain too much.
No, they absolutely... Well, and all of the reboots, they were just ahead of their time, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But yeah, for the most part, I think that we should forget he exists again.
Now, which did you like better, the first or the second movie?
Ooh. I mean, the second one because of riff tracks.
Well, we did the first one with riff tracks.
Did we? I didn't remember that.
Yeah. See, as I said,
they were not as funny.
I've immediately blocked it out, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the second one's a little bit more interesting.
Yeah,
because there's more going on.
Well, and maybe for me, the second one is more interesting because they changed things up. Mm-hmm. And so then it was about watching to figure out what the hell was going on in this story we'd already seen. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why.
Yeah,
I like that one better.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's contrarians out there who like Peter Cushing, the films and all that, but I can't get that worked up about it.
No.
I mean, I think it's cool that it's out there. You're like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, which was my reaction. Wait a minute, there's a doctor we don't acknowledge? That what is happening? See, we must support that. And now I'm like, meh.
What if...
Maybe not.
I'm throwing this out here, darling.
Oh, God.
50th anniversary, John Hurt is Peter Cushing.
John Hurt is Peter Cushing is the doctor?
Yeah.
So John Hurt's playing
the one we don't
Peter
ever talk
Cushing.
about.
Yeah.
But I know all your other doctors, and then it's like introducing John Hurt as Peter Cushing, Doctor Who.
Oh, that just makes me sad to think about. But it would never work because the Peter Cushing Doctor Who is human. So why in the world is he refereeing a?
And then that would explain everything. That would have been blowing everyone's mind even more. Instead of just being we made up a war doctor, he just feds go with it. It would have been like he's Peter Cushing. We're like, but what?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And who knows? Maybe at some point we will get it tied back together in this nice, neat bow because that's something that Doctor Who excels at in terms of playing the long game.
The only doctor to have a facial hair.
Okay. How interesting. I mean, I don't care. I mean one of those things. I can't remember. I am sad we do need to try. If there is a Peter Cushing Doctor doll out there, Doctor figure out there, we need to hear about it. So let us know. Because we would like to add him to our collection.
Right. And it is interesting how he is different from Bill Hartnell. I mean, he's a little less daughtery. He's still doddery. He's not as doddery, I guess.
Yeah.
He's tall doddery, I guess.
Yes, I don't see him as physically doddering. He still has the brain doddering.
Yeah. And he seems to know most of his lines.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we don't know how many of those lines were taped to the back of a Dalek, but... Or the back of Susan's head. Maybe that's why she's a child, because that's, a little head thing going on there. Mm-hmm. So, in terms of Daleks, are you just bored out of your mind at this point, or do we think there should be another Dalek movie?
That would be interesting. And have you been Daleked out the past few weeks? Have we killed Daleks for you? Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. Even though the Daleks are just Daleking, I mean, I think it's still an interesting movie for them. I mean, I don't get bored.
And see, I feel like there are so many more interesting bad guys to pursue. The Daleks, and we've talked, might have been last week that we talked about it, they don't have, and I appreciate that I'm going to completely contradict myself in just a moment when we go into the library, but for the most part, they don't have any sort of personalities.
Right.
We have seen so far in our entire watching of all of the stuff that we've watched, we've met 2 Daleks with personalities. The one we talked about in last week's library, who kills himself, and then the one we're going to talk about in this library, whom we see in this episode, and then we see in the Christmas special.
Right. Well, yes. Yeah.
And then that's it.
And I can think of maybe 1 or 2 more. There was the crazy Dalek in Journey's End, who kept seeing the future about what was going to happen, but they were crazy. And then there was sort of I don't know, I feel like it's not a great episode, but maybe I have to watch again and I'll change my mind. Daleks in Manhattan, when you have sort of the Dalek human hybrid.
You're thinking of the Muppets. The Muppets take Manhattan, baby.
But the Dalek human hybrid. Exactly. So, anyway. But yeah.
I think of those sorts of things, the Sontarans are very much personality-less creatures, except...
Right. Don't drink my water.
And except the potato-headed guy.
Right.
And they include him a lot more. And so I think if we got an opportunity to explore that a little bit more, maybe. Right.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting, in this movie, you don't actually ever see inside of the Dalek. Like, you never see the organic part.
Oogie Bart.
Yeah, because they showed it in the first movie, because it's in the first... Anyway, but yeah, you never see
of course.
Like a real Dalek. So I mean, you literally don't see them.
Yeah,
what's inside, figuratively and literally. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
So there you go.
And also, I still have the hole in the plot. They want to steal Earth to transport it to Skaro for what? Their beach house? I'm unsure.
Yeah, and I feel like this one, like I didn't remember in the series them sucking the Daleks into the center of the Earth.
I don't either.
So that was new.
Yeah. So anyway.
And kind of fun.
But and it did seem a little slapdash because I feel, and again, my memory goes that in the serial,
it's age, darling.
The first Doctor, was it even the first Doctor? Whoever talked into the microphone of like, all Robomen kill the Daleks. It was a little more smooth, whereas this one was just like Peter Cushing, like just jamming into the microphone. Hey, everyone, kill the Daleks! Boom, we're done. I'm like, they could just like
mic drop.
Don't do that,
Yeah. Except they're being sucked into the center of the earth. Exactly. So what are you gonna do?
Anyway, final thoughts or what? Anything
final
else?
Thoughts. Let's not
ever mention Peter Cushing again.
No, that's my final thought.
Cool.
Right, into the TARDIS library. We are going to be looking this time, of course, because we're doing sort of, I was going to say old Who, but that's not what this is. Because we've been doing bad Who.
We've been doing skinny, tall, old
mustachioed
doctors.
Old doctors. So we're jumping forward in the TARDIS library to the 12th Doctor. Another single Dalek adventure called Into the Dalek. And it first premiered on the 30th of August, 2014. A mere 4 years ago. I had to do the math. I had to take my shoes off and do the math. So,
What is the synopsis from TARDIS.wikia?
The synopsis from TARDIS.wikia says, surrounded by his greatest enemies, the newest Doctor will journey into the most dangerous place in all of the universe. With the limits of his compassion being tested, the Doctor will be forced to ask a question about himself that he doesn't know. Am I a good man?
Now, I have to say, watching this is maybe the third or fourth time I've seen this episode. This is a good early Capaldi episode. Because this is probably like the second or third episode.
Yeah, it's fairly early on.
And I'm like, yeah, I like it.
It's all right.
Yeah. Well, I like... Well, what I like was that it is sort of... comparing it to Dalek with the Ninth Doctor, the Doctor consumed by his fascination with the Daleks and hatred of the Daleks, and then what that comes around to. How he treats that, because the comparing to the Fourth Doctor when we watched Genesis of the Daleks way back when, him, being conflicted about, do I kill the Daleks? Can I do that? And this new dude would be like, yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, fascinated by a good Dalek and all that stuff. And I'll admit there's a little bit of, early on of what will be the series, Clara, magic solving everything. But that's all right, in as much as just because it's like the first time. So once you get it the fourth time, then it becomes a little insufferable. But, that's sort of the companions always have the magic moment of like, no, Doctor, remember your humanity. But I'm not human. But anyway.
Yeah.
So.
There was a lot going on in this because, of course, you also have, I assume, was this the introduction of Danny Pink?
Yes.
And the weird Danny Pink crying in class.
Yeah, I dismissed that, but yes.
And asking Clara out. So you've got all of that going on. And then you've got the Doctor saving this woman. And then this woman being really mad at him and going back to their secret place. And, we're going to shrink you down into it. It was a lot.
Honey, I Shrunk the Doctor.
Honey, I Shrunk the Doctor and everybody else. But then you push this button and you're fine. It's like, goes a little bit Ant-Man there.
Right.
Which normally I'm a big fan of. Mm-hmm. And then they have to go into the Dalek's head, but he's not really a good Dalek. He's just brain damaged.
Right.
And so they fix the brain damage and then he's a bad Dalek.
Or normal Dalek.
Or also known as normal Dalek. And so they give him brain damage again.
Right. Well, or they open up his mind. Because it's all a whole...
Via brain damage.
Well, no. Because he's closed off those memories, and so they open up the memories.
Yeah.
So that... It's just like what they say with like Cybermen, they close off your emotions. And if you open up the emotion button on a Cyberman, then things can go. So, but I did like that thought of that. Even though, which I think was sort of maybe obvious at the time, like, oh, it's radiation damage. Well, let's fix it. I'm like, well, that might be a problem.
Don't maybe.
not so quick with, anyway. But that the fact that no, it's not that Daleks, which we've heard before, that's all about hate and da-da-da-da. But that, that there was this moment of art or woman of whatever
watching
epiphany
a star being
born
yeah.
that made the Dalek think about the futility of Dalekhood, that no matter how much you destroy and conquer, the universe is infinite and ever changing, and so a star being born means that there's always going to be resistance and new life.
Yeah.
So it is interesting on that part.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the Doctor questioning his goodness is an important one.
You would make a good Dalek.
Yeah, that's not a thing you want to tell people.
Yeah.
Clara isn't really great at answering that either, which I think is a shame. The first time she's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, you've been with him a while. At least give him, yeah, I think you probably are. Look at all these good things you've done. No, I don't know.
Because, with that part, if we're going to focus on that. But anyway, is he asking, am I now a good man? And then we get to what regeneration means and all that. Or that all you've known me. So is she talking to 11 and 12? Or just talking to 12?
In which case, she should probably ask some clarifying questions.
Some
clarifying questions. You don't talk anymore. This is Natty. You have been replaced.
Right, now I'm going to be not Ian.
Yeah. And this is my companion, not Philip. Mm-hmm. it would feel like we addressed this in different ways already. I mean, I think if nothing else, and here's another thing she could remind him of, remember that time you didn't push the red button?
Right.
Yeah. And then when it's finished and she comes back to the question, she's like, I think you try to be every day or something, whatever it is that she says. And I'm like, you could have said that earlier. And I'm not sure that this particular episode was enough to give her that epiphany, if it was indeed an epiphany, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because we get the sort of the somewhat heartless Doctor of like, and I don't necessarily disagree, but it doesn't certainly earn him any favors where he doesn't really save someone who's about to die because, they're about to die.
He was going to die anyway,
right.
Yeah.
But,
I've just saved us instead.
But at least, like 10 would sort of be what was it sort of, he always says like, I'm so sorry. I'm so very sorry.
Yes, there's some sympathy there. Yeah. And 12 doesn't seem that bothered.
No. He's the least human connected of them all.
Yeah, and so if there were questions about his goodness or lack thereof in this particular episode, the Dalek response isn't the thing that gives us an idea. And
then the whole anti-soldier thing, I don't know if that even has anything to do with this episode. I mean, it's in it, but I mean, does it have anything to do with the Dalek experience, or that's just this random stupid thing the Doctor had, the 12th Doctor had, which has always put me off, obviously, as a former soldier myself.
And I don't feel like...
And knowing that he's worked literally in unit for several years.
And
but anyway.
We've had this whole thing, when a good man goes to... Is it when a good man goes to war, or when they put him in the Pandorica, that River says, in so many alien languages, the word doctor means warrior.
Right.
And so, you get all of those things... Yeah. And do we ever get a good explanation for why he's so anti-soldier?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I get like he's anti-gun and violence, but, he's always addressed that with the people, the brigadier, or even more modern examples, or, whatever. But it doesn't, Yeah. Anyway.
So...
But anyway...
In today's episode of Time and Space, A Married Couple's Adventure Through Time, whatever we're called... in today's episode, we're going to be grumpy old men.
That's right.
I think pretty much sums up that's the TLDR of this.
So you enjoyed Dalek more than Into the Dalek?
Oh, yes. Yes. Very much so. Cool. Absolutely. There's my thoughts. So, let's stop saying the word Dalek. It's taken on, it doesn't actually mean anything to me anymore. We've said it a whole lot. What are we going to talk about next week, sweetheart?
Well, you know what? We're going to do a change for once. Next week is going to be a surprise, listeners. So stay tuned for what exciting Doctor Who topic we'll have next week. And until then, darling, you're my favorite person to survive in a Dalek dystopian future with. In all of time
I don't
and
want.
space.
We've talked about this. I don't want to survive a dystopian universe.
Okay, so then I'll have to find not Jessica.
Yes.
This is BBC Television.